Okay, functions of legal process as per Ellen Watson. So again, legal process, why do we have different theories? It's because different jurists, different scholars, different writers have given their own point of view. They have given their own different theories. So we have these different concepts defined differently also, right? We see different definitions for a lot of different words. And as a result, we have different theories, different philosophies applicable. So concept of legal process also has been defined differently by different jurists, and they also have different opinions regarding what function legal process performs. What is the purpose of having different legal processes in a society? There are differences in opinions as well. When we talk about Ellen Watson, he is a professor of civil law at University of Edinburgh, and Watson authored nearly 150 books and articles, many of which are being also translated from English to other different languages. It's so important. His theories are that it is also included in your syllabus as well, right? Functions of legal process as per Ellen Watson. So functions of legal process as discussed by Ellen Watson. According to Ellen Watson, laws are not developed as a result of relationship between law and society. Mostly when you see, right, there is one concept which says that what is law? How has it developed? It has developed based on needs of the society. Because we wanted a certain thing, we developed a certain law. Take for example, if you see COVID-19. When COVID-19 was spreading, there were so many videos that were being circulated that, right, when we talk, also these, like there is a possibility of virus getting spread. Have you seen that? I saw starting off like first wave, there was one video, two people were there in one room, and then some research was done, okay, that within one room, two people were talking, like there was a distance also in between them. So it was shown that how there is like a possibility of virus getting transmitted. So it's very much important that you wear a mask and all that, right? So many attempts were being made to make people understand that it's important to wear a mask when you are going outside. But then it's not that you just make people understand. Many times law becomes very much necessary. Just by saying you cannot get something done. When you have a law that provides for punishment, then only people start following it, right? When we realize that it's not happening, people are not following the regulations, rules, certain notifications came that if you are roaming outside without wearing a mask, fine would be imposed. After that, people were scared, they started wearing masks. That is nothing but law has developed based on need of the society. What is the problem that we are facing? Based on that, new laws, new regulations came, right? So one concept is that yes, there is a very close relation between law and society. Laws are only to address the problems that society is facing, and whatever is the requirement, based on that, laws also develop. Law keeps on changing. That is one viewpoint. But Ellen Watson was against this viewpoint, okay? According to him, laws are not developed because we have seen some problems, we wanted to address it. That is not how law has developed. But how it has developed, the people who have lawmaking power may come to know about some rules that are working well in a foreign country. If you read Constitution, you must be aware, right? Many features are borrowed from foreign countries in Constitution of
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Right? So many features are borrowed that it is considered, it is called as a bag of borrowings. From many countries, we have borrowed so many concepts that it is considered as a bag of borrowings. Same viewpoint Ellen Watson gave. He said, how law has developed, it has developed because whoever is having lawmaking power, in our case, it was the Constituent Assembly that was framed, right? They researched on different countries' constitution, what is working well, what is not working well. Based on that, they tried to develop some rules and regulations that, okay, this certain thing is working very good in a foreign country, maybe we should borrow it, it should work well in our country also. Constitution of India is like a greatest example of that, right? We borrowed so many concepts here and there, we made some changes and we made them applicable. Same ways, if you talk about this nationwide lockdown thing, that was also something which India has seen from other foreign countries, that there were some foreign countries where nationwide lockdown was imposed, they could bring down the spread of COVID-19. For other countries where everything was open, people were all free, the rate of cases went high and high, right? That means there were some, it was, how did they realize? By seeing what is working well in foreign countries. That is how laws develop. They simply borrow whatever is working well in a foreign country, they make it applicable in their own country. However, such legal process undergoes some changes to meet the needs and requirements of the new society. There would be differences also, right? It's not like exactly same, two different countries. So we would make the changes. Just like how we have seen in case of Constitution of India, some changes here and there were made, and then it was made applicable in Indian situation also. Thus, yes, legal process may act as a great source of law and act as an inspiration for foreign countries to incorporate the same provisions. When they see that, okay, this certain thing is working well in a country, they would borrow it. So all these different processes that they are following, that is very much important. Like they might see that, okay, fine, having the provision for capital punishment does not matter how frequently you are making use of it, but just having that provision helps in creating kind of a fear amongst like probable criminals or some like-minded people who might, there is a possibility for them to commit a crime, right? Like that, they would get inspiration. Watson did not accept that there is a close relation between law and society. As for him, people who have this lawmaking power, they came to know, and with some modifications, they applied it. But what are the functions of legal process? To resolve dispute by doing or in order to do justice. Justice is the main thing what we need to do. To resolve dispute by doing or in order to do justice. Whatever disputes are there, those disputes need to be settled, and based on that, justice would be served, right? When disputes are settled, when parties are getting whatever is due, dispute would be settled, right? If someone has suffered loss, when that party is compensated for that loss, we can settle the dispute which is arising between parties. Mostly we would see in road traffic accident and all that cases, there would be a dispute that because of you, I have suffered this injury and now I need to visit the doctor and all that. In such a case, court may provide some amount of compensation in order to resolve the dispute that has taken place between two persons, right? So first function is to resolve dispute by doing or in order to do justice. Secondly, to resolve the dispute by establishing the facts and applying relevant rules of law to them. How do we resolve the dispute? We look into the facts, what is applicable, what is not applicable. It may happen that sometimes it's very much evident that yes, this person has committed a crime, but he may opt for different kind of exceptions which are available. General exceptions, do you remember anything? What are the exceptions we can claim?
No, ma'am, I can't remember now.
Okay, for criminal cases, we can maybe claim that, okay, this person was insane. Mentally, he was not sound. In such a case,
okay, ma'am.
Right, you remember?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Involuntary intoxication and all.
Yes, involuntary intoxication, child, all that we have, right? So take for example, one person, it's very much evident that he has committed the crime, but he comes up with the excuse that I am suffering from some mental illness and it is not like permanent. Okay, what happens is usually I'm of sound mind, but occasionally I get attack of insanity. And when I committed the crime at that point in time also, I was under that attack of insanity, Because of that, I could not differentiate between right and wrong, and I ended up committing the crime. Okay, in such a case, what happens is that person needs to establish this fact also, that occasionally he is getting attack of insanity. At that point in time also, he was not able to take like a rational decision. All that needs to be proved. After that, what happens? Relevant laws would be applicable. Like if IPC provides for an exception, that relevant law would be applied, and based on that, the case would be decided. This is also nothing but a function that legal process performs. To resolve the dispute in the interest of immediately involved parties, whoever are the parties, their interests need to be protected. Based on that, the case needs to be decided. Many times you would see divorce, right, which is many cases would be filed before the court. Now, in order to get divorce, right, there are certain grounds mentioned. If party can prove any of those grounds, they can get divorce. Now, it takes a very long time to file that case and finally get the decree from court that, okay, marriage is dissolved. Okay, because what happens is one party is claiming divorce, maybe another party is against it, another party do not want that divorce. Okay, so what happens is one party cannot simply go to the court and say that I want to get divorced. Court would not entertain it. Why? Because they would think about interest of these parties who are involved in this case. One person should not suffer just because the other party feels like getting a divorce next day of marriage, right? So interest of both these two parties would be taken into consideration. Based on that, we have different laws, right? We have general divorce laws, plus we have something called as divorce with mutual consent, that both the parties have mutually decided that maybe we cannot live with one another, let's get divorced. In such a case, it becomes easier to get a divorce. Why? Because interest of immediately involved parties, both the parties want the same thing. So in that case, court also would be like, okay, fine, that their process takes little lesser time. This is nothing but, again, that dispute needs to be resolved in interest of immediately involved parties. Their interest needs to be taken into consideration. Nobody should suffer because of a certain procedure followed by the court. Okay.
Okay.
To resolve the dispute in the best economic interest of the society at large, to resolve the dispute in best economic, social, and political interest of the ruling class. Now, when a decision has been given by the court, right, it might involve economic interest of the society also, because it is not that today a case is filed, decision is been given. Whatever decision is given today, that applies to other cases also as a form of precedent, that, okay, Supreme Court has said so and so, so this is what would be applicable. Many times you would see there would be blogs everywhere. In news, it would be said Supreme Court has declared so and so. Might be Supreme Court was deciding only one case, but why that is everywhere in news? Because it becomes like a law, it becomes applicable. So when they are deciding a case, they would definitely think about interest of the parties involved, but along with that, they would also think about best economic interest of the society at large. What is best for the society? That also would be taken into consideration. Like if you check bounce, you know, right? What is check bounce?
Yes, ma'am.
Check bounce is a criminal offense. Okay. Now, like criminal offenses are severe as compared to civil crimes, civil wrongs, right? So during this COVID-19 initial time, right, companies and businesses, they were going through like huge loss, right? Many companies were undergoing huge loss. So what happened is there was a proposal. It did not happen ultimately, but there was a proposal that maybe we should make check bounce a civil wrong, so that during COVID time, when people are struggling to earn money, if someone wants to, like transact by way of check, they would not worry about it, that if I'm not able to repay, there would be a criminal case against me, my records would go down and stuff, right? So there was a proposal that maybe we should make check bounce a civil suit, but then it did not happen. It remained a criminal case only. But again, this is just an example, okay, that in the economic interest, they would think about, they would make some changes in the law also. Okay, sometimes you would say punishment may be increased, like for check bounce, it was initially it was civil, then it was made criminal. Then again, there was a proposal to again make it civil. So it's nothing but economic interest of society at large would be thought of while deciding a dispute.
Okay.
To resolve the dispute in best economic, social, political interest of the ruling class, they would not just give a decision, okay, they would analyze all the things, all the situations and everything. Like if you remember very early cases, okay, where relating to this constitutional amendment, how amendment can be done, what can be changed, what cannot be changed, okay, like that, there were cases where this concept, one concept is there, okay, like prospective overruling, as in whatever Supreme Court has said or whatever the other court has said previously, we are overruling it, as in from now onwards it would not be valid. We are completely like removing that statement only, that statement is not valid, but it is prospective overruling, as in from today onwards it would not be valid. Previously whatever happened based on that decision, that would remain as such only. This is nothing but they would think about all these interests while deciding a case. It's not that they would simply give a decision, all the different situations would be analyzed, after that they would give a decision. Okay.
Okay.
To resolve the dispute with specific object of inhabiting further unregulated conflict. So when a case has been decided, they would also think about in future how we can reduce the conflict, how we can like set us create like a set process to deal with these kind of matters. Many times you would see when a case is decided, court would issue like list of guidelines. From now onwards, these guidelines you need to follow until and unless parliament frames a law, right? So these kind of situations also we do see wherein different legal processes are there again, right? Legal process also allows the Supreme Court that it can provide some guidelines. Those guidelines would be applicable just like a law passed by the parliament. It would have that much of authority, that much of power. Okay, so these are again nothing but examples of whatever Ellen Watson had said. We see real life examples based on all these different points. Okay, so this is about his theory.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, will you share this also?
Yeah, I will share this. You can go through it, okay?
Okay.